G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you're having a lovely day. With that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the Barbie, and let's get right into it. Posted by user Outside Apartment 528, titled, My 43 male, girlfriend 36 female, asked to open the relationship, and I just pointed her to the door. So, like the title says, my girlfriend asked that we open the relationship, and I just pointed her to the door. Was it too much? I strongly believe that in a monogamous relationship, when someone asks to open it, well, it's because that person saw something else out there and is ready to try it instead of working on the relationship. Basically, they are blindsiding his or her partner. So I've been with Fran over the last 2.5 years, almost 2 as a couple. I thought that things were going smoothly and was about to ask her to move in at the beginning of April. But lately she was acting rather distant, so I decided to wait a little and watch. I was cheated on in the past, so I'm a little cautious with some signs. Out of nowhere this last Friday, she asked me to open the relationship. She gave me this big speech, and when she ended her presentation, I asked her if she has someone in mind, because it's not like we decided today and basically going out with other people tomorrow. Basically, I tricked her into telling me what I already knew. And yes, she does have someone in mind, which means to me that either she already did it or she has it all set up. So I got up, walked around the apartment while she was trying to sell this, that could be good for the both of us and our relationship, and by the time she ended talking, I handed her one of my sport bags with all of her stuff in it and told her to leave the spare key on the table on her way out, that we are done and she knows why. Then I went to the couch and turned on the TV, just trying to look indifferent and save face. She was speechless for a while. She was about to cry, but before she could say something, I told her that I didn't want to talk about anything and that she should leave. As soon as she left, I felt like crap, so unworthy. I cried a little bit, and as right now, I am still mourning that loss. My phone has been going almost nuclear with all the calls and texts I received from friends of both sides about my extreme reaction over her simple request. I don't know what she told them. So now I'm sitting here wondering if I really went overboard, and at the same time fighting the urge to run back to her, because deep inside, even knowing my feelings for her are still there, the trust is gone, and I'm not going to spend all my time watching her movements. It's not healthy. Maybe in time, but I really don't know. Before anyone points out, yes, I know my reaction is a pure reflection of me, not what she did or was about to do or could do, so my question is, did I go overboard? In the comments, what you did was fine. If she wasn't satisfied with the relationship, she should have handled that with you, not by planning a sex date with someone else. OP replies, thanks, my point exactly. I've never understood this. She said what she wanted, you said no, now she's shocked. And it's not like she wanted a new mountain bike. You were very nice to her considering what she did. Anyone who says any different is no friend of yours. OP replies, it's not like I think I did wrong, but some of my friends are trying to patch things up because they care, and are telling me that my actions were too extreme in the hope that we could find a way back. So even though it sounds silly, asking for perspective from unknown people does help. Ask those friends if they're willing to open their marriage so you can F with their wife and see what they say. Any Limit says, you handled this perfectly. You did nothing wrong. She already had feelings for another person, at least sexually, so she should go have fun with them. She just doesn't get to go have that fun and have you. If people in your life don't understand that, then they can pound sand too. Nah, man, you killed it. You are the person everyone should aspire to be. More than half of the open relationship posts here could be easily avoided if people had a fraction of your courage. Power to you. Hope you find someone better. Take care. Half the people who get involved in open relationships only realize they made a wrong move by the time they're in a bathroom crying, while 2/3 of a threesome continues to go on in another room. Yeah, honestly, I do feel like we see posts with open relationships and people attempting to do them quite a lot on Reddit, although we don't often hear of these success stories. We do hear of the success stories in the comments, but I feel like it's easy to brush those off. I do myself wonder how successful open relationships and thruples are in this day and age. It just feels as though all I'm exposed to online, especially with Reddit, is their failings and the partner that is on the receiving end of that failure, posting online very negatively. So I have a negative bias against open relationships in some ways because of that. But honestly, this is another example, as you guys pointed out in the comments at some point, of there's no need to talk. This is way past the point of talking. We're just going to break up, and that's that. I'm not happy with pursuing this relationship further. Because yes, communication is often the way to solve issues like this, but sometimes communication isn't enough, and it's better to just part ways. And I can applaud OP for doing that. Update. First of all, thanks for all the replies and upvotes. It never crossed my mind that this post would have this much attention. I just wrote this in order to put down my ideas and to vent a little bit, and with the hope, I guess, that a few people would tell me if I went overboard or not. But I didn't expect the amount of replies I got. So many thanks to all of you for that. Some people pointed out that I maybe did go overboard, that maybe she wasn't aware of my position on the subject. I replied to some, but there were too many comments to get back to all. So to clarify, maybe a year back approximately, we had a couple of friends in a similar situation, and for like a month, that was the main theme of conversation on our friend groups, and every time I said that for me is a big no, and if one person in a relationship needs to be with other people, well then he or she should just leave. About the friends trying to mend things, well, they weren't totally aware of the situation. Yesterday after I posted here, and with my ideas more defined, I went to see a group of them and told them my point of view. All of them agree with me on different levels. Some of them wanted to let it go, others wanted to burn her at the stake. Of course, a few girls in the group pointed out that I could do things in a better way, and also there was a few questions about if I could consider giving her another chance. But for me, the main issue is not feelings. I know that I love her, but the trust is gone, and I don't want to find myself wondering all the time what she's up to. After I left, my friends talked to other people that weren't there, and basically the waters have calmed. If you're wondering what she's doing, I really don't know. I got a few texts from her, but haven't read them yet, and I don't think that I will do it soon. Anyway, I know it's not much, but this is all I've got for now. In the comments, Comfortable Law says, I think you should talk to her and ask her what she thought was going to happen, since you always made it clear that opening up the relationship was a big no for you. I don't think you reacted badly. I think she's the one who should be forever ashamed of herself for that. I hope everything works out for you. And OP replies, I don't know. Actually, I have given this a lot of thought. I don't know if I would get a satisfactory answer. I don't find any logic, because she knew me. And she should know part of me thinks that she wanted to break up to be with this guy, but she didn't want to be the crappy girl that left one guy to be with the other, and maybe was hoping for an aggressive overreaction from me, so that she could leave, pointing out that I was the bad guy, and avoid that her friends made judgment of her. Maybe in a few days I would be ready to have that talk, but not for now. Final update. Hello to every stranger interested in how things ended. I wasn't much on the idea about posting any other update, but some people have been asking, so here it is. Finally, after listening to various friends and some Reddit users, I talked to her, just to sort things out. Last Friday, we met up at our regular place where we have coffee. From a distance, she looked great. So great that I just wanted to say screw it and drag her back to my place. It took a lot of restraining to not do it. When I got close to her, I noticed her sadness, and she still has her eyes irritated from crying. We sat, and before she could say a word, I asked her to tell me the entire story and to please not leave anything out of it, that I need it, and then I would ask her a few things, and I also needed all of the truth. The story is pretty basic. Around 2 months before she asked for the open relationship, on her girls' dancing night out, they meet this exotic, good-looking guy. During the first month, he was the new flavor that all the single friends in the group were trying out, which led the girls to taking shared experiences. Eventually, this guy that was having his way with all the girls around him set his eyes on Fran and begun to flirt with her, taking her to the dance floor and having fun. Well, here is where she should have stopped things, because we had an agreement with dancing night that she would stay away from any guy because we guys are pigs and it's pretty rare that a guy just wants to dance. Anyway, because of the excitement, she went for it, enjoyed the attention of this guy, and had a great time dancing. Looking at the timeline, this was around the time that I noticed Fran was distant. Moving forward a few weeks, her friends were sharing more intimate stories about this guy, and that got into her mind. She found herself fantasizing doing it with him, and he was trying to make a move on her too. But from what she told me, she didn't go for it because she was with me. Drinks and drunken friends are bad counselors, and once the idea of the open relationship came out, there were 2 weeks chatting about how to convince me that because a long time ago I had threesomes and also swinged a little, I should be okay with the idea of an open relationship. But threesomes and swinging are things that you do as a couple and out of pure excitement, at least for me, and was a long time ago in my early 20s. All this led to the day that she asked to open the relationship. She told me that she and her friends never thought that I would end the relationship in that moment, and that the worst scenario would be me getting angry and saying no. So there is no big deal in just asking. At this point, I interrupt her and tell her that she should know better. We were together for over 2 years and always shared my thoughts about everything with her, and she agrees. At this point, I explained to her that I didn't break up with her for the question, I did it because there was already a guy, so for me, that was a major trust issue. If this was some concern that came out naturally, maybe we could have worked it out, and in the worst scenario, maybe we could have found an alternative, but the way things were, it was an alert for me. We went around the topic for a while, and then I began to question her. Basically, I asked if she was intimate with him at some point, and she said she wasn't. I asked if she developed some feelings for him, and she said no, she didn't. And lastly, if she has been seeing this guy again, and that was also a no. Even if that's not much, that was some small relief. But I explained to her that I can't go back to her. I need to end this for my own health. Also, I told her that we share a lot of friends, and I don't want to lose any of them because of this, and it wouldn't be fair to ask them to choose, so we can behave like adults and keep things friendly. If my friends take one side, it's because they want to, not because I asked them to. She said how sorry she is, that if she could, she would undo everything, but she knew that it can't be done. She was about to cry, and me too, so it was a good moment to ask for the check and leave. I walked her to her car, opened the door for her, just a habit of mine, and then she started to cry. I couldn't help and hug her. We stood there for about 10 minutes, and when she calmed down, she got into her car and drove away. I was in shock. I went and grabbed my camping gear and drove up to the mountain and spent all weekend there to clear my mind. Early in the morning, I was driving back to the city, and the moment my phone grabbed signal, it got flooded with messages from friends and family, all worried because basically I disappeared without telling anybody. I text back to everyone telling them that I was okay, that I went out camping, and at the moment was driving to work. Also, I got a text from her, something along the lines that she feels that we are not over yet, and that she thinks I need time to leave all this behind me, and she will wait in the hope of it. I haven't texted her back, because I'm pretty sure I'm done, but experience has taught me to never say never. So for now, I'm gonna take it easy, doing what I like and seeing where things take me. Well, that's it. Thanks for all of your support and advice. In the comments, good job standing up for yourself. The moment she got another guy in her mind, she is no longer respecting you. Do not take her back. There are plenty of good women out there that will treat you right. Well, now she can get all the attention and sexual experience with any guy she wants, while being single, of course. Only vile humans wish to explore their sexual desires while still in a relationship with others. OP replies, to be fair, the mind does play tricks on us, so having thoughts or fantasies is pretty normal. Taking action is the issue. Here is where I draw the line. I don't wish her ill or anything. At the moment, I'm just a little bit sad, I'm not gonna lie. Going back has crossed my mind a lot of times, but I just play in my mind the scenario of me back with her and always wondering and having the need to check her phone, and that's a big no for me. I don't believe she is vile, only we weren't on the same page. Also, I think deep inside she wasn't on the same page with her own self. Anyway, time to move forward and see what life has ahead for me. Only One Scribe says, Wait, so all of her friends were taking turns banging this dude and telling each other about it, and she wanted to be the next one to do him after all of her other friends? Who does this? And why would he still want to be friends with their mutual friends after learning that this is what's happening on girls' nights? I was thinking the same thing, being passed around like some Doritos, and she's like, I got next. Nah. You know, I never thought it was so common for people to ask for open relationships until I joined Reddit. To be honest, confirmation bias does kick in. You don't hear about people who didn't ask for it because there's no drama to happen. I guess all's well that ends well in this situation. Like, I can empathize with OP in this situation and see why he feels as though he might want to go back to her in the future. Never say never. But as that comment pointed out, the fact that he wants to stick around with that friend group after all of them want to just have a go with this guy and then share their experiences, that to me is very weird. Like, pop off, absolutely, have your fun, but that's not a particular group of people that I want to associate with personally, because especially if my partner is running in those circles, are we not guaranteed to have a situation like this arise once again if that's the culture of your friendship circle? Like, I don't know, I don't trust that at all. And yeah, as he said, the trust is gone. If he was with her again, he'd never not want to check her phone to be absolutely sure that something like this isn't popping up once again. That's just me though, I'd love to know what you guys think of this down in the comments below. Our next post is by user Mora Kenjeli, titled, My roommate is pressuring me into a threesome, and I clearly don't want it. So my roommate and I have been living together for almost a year now. We're both the same age, 23, and have a lot of things in common. At one point we were very close, and people even said that we look alike. Since both of us were working at a furniture store, it was easier to live together and split the bills. A couple of months ago, everyone was notified on WhatsApp not to report to work until further notice. We later found out that our boss had a lot of issues going on, and the bank was auctioning some of her property, including the building where the furniture store was at. That's how we both lost our jobs without even being paid the previous month's salary. We never thought that it would take this long to get another job. We were both actively searching for jobs online and in person. I didn't know that she had started looking for alternative sources and was considering hookups. So she met this guy, who happened to be a client from our previous workplace, and knew the both of us. He has some kind of fetish and was asking her if he could have our hair looking the same and put on the same outfit. In short, he wanted a threesome with us, looking like twins. He was willing to pay at least $300 for each of us, and my roommate tried to convince me into it. At first I thought, we do it once, and just pay some of our debt, which will buy us time to clear the rest, but I just can't bring myself to do it. I also don't know how to be intimate with people I have no emotional connection with, and now she went from asking me nicely to harassing me, saying she'd rather live alone and she'll get me kicked out. Yesterday I found out she's been talking to the landlord behind my back. She's forgotten last month that I sold some of my stuff so I could buy food for the both of us. Normally, both of us would give $380 to budget for rent and other bills each month. Since last month, none of us had paid our share of the rent, and by the 10th, we would be owing the landlord for 2 months. The landlord knows that we both lost our jobs and has been very patient. I don't know what she said for him to threaten to put me out of the house if I don't pay my share on time. She has manipulated the landlord against me, and I feel betrayed by her. We are both in the same situation, and yet she's only trying to pressure me into agreeing to the threesome. I don't know how I'll get to pay my share, but I'm certain this is not what I want. I just don't understand how someone will come up with something like that and just manipulate me to follow through without even considering how I feel about it. What should I do? Should I just avoid her and forget about this, or after getting a job, just move out? I had already sold most of my stuff just to keep us going, and now when I'm at my lowest, she is turning against me. I have nothing against sex work, it's just something I can't get myself to do. I care about her as a sister, but I feel this time she really went out of line. In the comments, she isn't your friend, she isn't your sister, and as a would-be pimp, not me, your roommate, at $300 for sex, she's trying to severely underpay you for your body. Talk to the landlord, get a job, whatever can be found, find a new roommate to live with. Came here to say exactly this. I've dabbled in cam work. Maybe OP or their roomie would want to consider this. Don't do it if you don't like the idea, obviously. And I would charge $1,000 for a meetup, plus $300 an hour after that if someone seriously wanted to do something in person. The high cost for meetup would cover my travel expenses, because we would not meet in the town that I live in, and for taking my own life at risk. Then $300 an hour for fun times, whether that's having a meal, having sex, sleeping over, etc., and I wouldn't be paying for meals or any outings that we did. Talk to your landlord and move out. Reach out to reliable friends or family. Don't do what you don't want to do, just walk away now. Absolutely tell the landlord. If they knowingly do nothing and allow sex trafficking or prostitution on their property, they'll open themselves to a host of legal liability, in the US at least. The landlord may well be a client of the roomie. Maybe the best not to mention anything about trafficking, etc., except to report to law enforcement if necessary. No need courting danger with someone who has keys to your home. Update. Hi guys. I posted how my roommate was pressuring me into a threesome. I read most of the comments, and I decided to tell the landlord how she was manipulating me and everything that was happening. He eventually believed me and confronted her. I know this is evil, but she turned on me first, and being open with the landlord, he agreed to give me more time. I also have a job interview coming up. If everything goes well, I might be having a job next week, and if not, I'll look for a shelter. There were people who genuinely were worried about me, so I had to let them know that I didn't go through with it, and I wasn't kicked out, at least for now. Aside from that, I also got messages from a lot of men. I know men are allowed in this sub, but I have to say that kind of post attracted some creeps, and I got a lot of chat requests asking weird stuff. One even asked to pay for videos. I declined, and he told me that I must have a potato body to not want to show myself even with my face hidden. Like I said, I have nothing against sex work. I just can't bring myself to do it. People messaging me how morals can't pay bills and I should just sell the pee. I don't know what to say because I don't want to be rude or offend anyone. Considering everything I have to say, as much as there are nice people in here, there are also bullies. And if you have nothing kind to say to someone, just ignore their post. Some of us have our own issues, and this is the only safe space that we could come to vent. In the comments, Tannig Rebel says, "Well done. If you want to, steady use of the report function." OP says, "I blocked most of them." Consider removing the part about which subreddit you've been using another account on. Some creeps might start digging into that subreddit and figure out which one is you. Y90210 says, "The reason why it sounds cheap is because the roommate is getting $3,000 and she's offering $300 to OP. That explains why she's so upset over her not taking the deal." That explains so much. Heiger Bohm Hudner says, "Sheesh. That part where OP mentioned how a lot of men reached out to her for some creepy shit is effing scary. I'm a dude and wouldn't even think about that. Really makes me wonder what the hell goes on in these guys' heads." Well, she's desperate enough to briefly consider doing actual physical sex work, so maybe I can coax, bully, and manipulate her into doing something slightly tamer, like videos. That's the mindset. It's disgusting. They just saw a vulnerable woman in a difficult situation and thought they could take advantage of that to get what they wanted.